So guys, I want to talk about disruption, retail disruption. So I'm wearing two hats. I'm obviously I'm a BU head for Pick and Pay. I'm doing AV, appliances, multimedia, and high tech. So I'm in the heart of retail disruption. Some of our competitors are going through a little bit of struggle. We are also struggling. Everyone is struggling. And my second hat is being an ambassador for a German think tank called Platform Innovation Kit. So if you're familiar with the business model canvas from Osterwalder, we have developed something similar for platforms if you should be interested. The theme of my presentation is it's ultimately about the WOS, okay? Why do I take the WOS? Because the WOS is something that is yet to be disturbed by online retail, okay? Nowhere in the world. So the point is you need to understand what your differentiator is, okay? And basically deal with it and highlight it and leverage it. I want to start my presentation here with a quote of my hero, Clayton Christensen. He's one of the few people. You guys look up to them. I look in his eyes because he's 6'8". He's my height, a little bit taller even. What he's talking about is the disruptive new business model, okay? So I've heard a lot of stuff, good stuff about agility and new technology. And a lot of that stuff, I must say, I didn't understand. I went to public school and then in Germany nochmal. So we have to understand that it's not necessarily about the new technology and the new products. It's also about the infrastructure. And so how I read that quote is that you need the agility on the one hand, and the infrastructure on the other hand to create a new business model. I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of experience in corporate, but I also worked as a startup and I worked as a supplier for Samsung. And I would like to share with you a business case a test that I conducted in my capacity as head of sales for Samsung in 2014. And ladies and gentlemen, you're the first people that hear about it because it was in the vault of my Austrian university for the master's thesis for 5 years. So it was just open in October last year. I will show you that already then we identified that Game and Beyond Wired was in deep cuck. I, in my personal capacity, spoke to the MD and the CEO of Game and told them, listen guys, you're in deep cuck. But the response was typical. The response was something like, we didn't do anything wrong. Somehow we lost. I wanted to introduce the term of lazy retailing. Lazy retailing is it's hitting the price, okay? Let's do a discount of 50%. And then surely I will gain 50% sales in order to stand still. And that's not going to happen because the market is flat. And if I hit the price and compete with a guy like Takealot that has a lower cost base and has Big Daddy, Naspers, helping them to the tune to 500 million rand a year just to drive price perception and drive customers, i.e. they have a different business model, I would be pretty stupid, okay? There's a correlation between price and sales, but that's not the only reason. And I want to share with you now the test that we have carried out that proves that we in South Africa, everyone says, yo, price, 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 price. But price is not everything. The strategic choice of every business model comes down to that. Is it price or differentiation? And that's not a completely new realization. We know that from Porter from the 80s, right? Generic strategy, price or differentiation. In South Africa, my considered view is that differentiation can be broken down to two buying decision criterions. Affordability and what Christensen calls a job to be done. So customers don't buy a product, they hire the product to get a job done. And his case study in the course I studied with him, or under him, was KFC in America. They sell more milkshakes in the mornings. Why? because I identified that the job to be done of a milkshake is to keep the customer busy during the commute to work. That is a job to be done. Not more color, more Smarties in it, bigger size, promotion. The job to be done is, I have a hand free, I'm bored. When I arrive at work, I don't want to be really hungry, and I don't want to mess a bagel or want to peel a banana. That is a job to be done. So, what is the job to be done for this test? And guys, you're the lucky one, the first ones in South Africa that know about it. We did a test, nationwide test, 2014, 5 years old, okay, or 5.5 years old, where we as Samsung spent 6 million rand in marketing to prove that we can disrupt the retailer's business model. That was not the original desire of the intention of Samsung, but I needed that for my master thesis. Our Korean masters paid 6 million rand for that. We carried out and simultaneous execution on 13 point of sales. We secured 384 golden locations in all the retailers. All these retailers were tied in. Macro, Takealot, Stacks, everyone, Dion Wyatt, you can see that. And everyone had the same price, the same retail execution. We had stock embargo, we had marketing embargo, and we really pumped the media. 70% share of voice in all media types over that month of October. So we wanted to show that this affordability criterion trumps price. It sounds counterintuitive, right? But through a test, a set of iterations beforehand, for 27 weeks, we went to one retailer after the other and had a Blue Tuesday, okay? And said, Hirsch, give away a free AV player or DVD player. Give away let's do a promotion, or let's do a price discount. And we found through these tests that affordability is very, very topical in South Africa. Also, nothing world-shattering, but the results are world-shattering. Sorry, I don't know how your German is, but that's a copy from page 47 of my thesis. We have the channel. The channels left is mass, credit is furniture, value is independent, online, and F&B. Here's the contribution, sell-in, for the 9 months, 9 months preceding the Black Friday, or it's not Black Friday, sorry, I'm still in the past, the blue weekend promotion. You can see here the 2 red boxes. We see the mass channel, which is really Game, Macro, Alpha Corporation, Dion Wyatt, had a historic contribution of 53%, and Rausverkauf, sell out, sorry, that's wrong, it's sell out. The share of sell out over that weekend was 23%. F&B, historic contribution sell-in, less than 1%. Over that weekend, 40%. In a nutshell, we killed their telemarketing department. They got 4,000 calls on the Saturday and could only process 1,800. And so what we have done then is we went then back to the CEO of Game and Dion Wyatt and said, guys, we have a problem. Okay, and their response was, yeah, it was a cuck promotion. It didn't work for us. But there are 4 insights generated from that. The first insight is the traditional buying process does not longer apply. In the past, I want to buy a suitcase. I go top-of-mind retailer, let's say a Macro. I said, oh, what's a good piece of luggage here? They tell me, go Samsonite. I buy Samsonite. Right now, there's a forward shift. So I can influence the customer by making the offering attractive to him. The customer, I influence to choose the retailer and the fulfillment as such is completely decoupled from the purchase process. So if I have a cracker deal, someone said, yeah, I got a good deal in the south of Johannesburg. If I get a cracker deal on the S-Class I would even drive to Bloemfontein, right? Because it's a good deal for me. That's insight number 1. So the choice of the offering is different, it's the starting step, as opposed to what is my retailer. That's a very, very important insight. The second insight is there's a new battleground in the middle for the empowered consumer. Traditionally, from left to right, upstream you have the manufacturer, and they're always saying, yeah, we have the features and this product and no one can beat us. And there you have the price, which is a traditional competency of the retailer. My point is that the battleground for competitive advantage is the ability to manage cross-channel. And that's where retail as a service comes in. And retail as a service is not, yeah, if I buy a new Audi for 500,000 rand, no, I will have an agility program or whatever, it's Mercedes for 5,000 rand with insurance and new tires, etc., etc. That's insight number 2. Insight 3, we're living in a commoditized world. That's the TV. Every TV, I can tell you, is by and large the same. We know from customer research at our Samsung days that 95% of Galaxy users, 95% of Galaxy users, a top-end phone, use less than 5% of the product capabilities. So they're not using the Samsung because it's a great phone. It is a great phone. But any Huawei or Vodacom Kicker or whatever they're called basically would serve 95% of the customers. It has something to do with something else other than the product. So, and my view is, or what I would propose to you, the future of retail lies in over-the-top layering of differentiation. The product is the same. A TV is a TV. What do you do with it? Can you generate insight? Can you collect customer data and generate insight? And I can tell you every retailer sits on a ton of data, but they don't do anything with it. I came to South Africa in 2003, and since 2003, I get every Saturday, I'm a customer of the Macro Liquor store. I think it's a great store. But I get an SMS every single week. We have a special on whiskey. And I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I get it every week. I said, great, guys, when do you know that I'm not interested in whiskey? Huh? It will change you, which comes with age. So the way forward is really a customized offering, okay? Where you just add the last 5% of the offering by customization. So compared with Vodacom and WhatsApp, right? Vodacom and Cell C and them, they do all the heavy lifting, but data is data, right? You don't care where the data is coming from. But the last 5%, that's really where you create value. Insight 4. Some of you are familiar with Christensen's disruptive innovation model. It says basically that over time, the market offering through incumbents increases, okay? But the consumer is unable to absorb all the improvements. At some stage, I don't care whether I have 3 HDMI ports on my TV or 5 or 7, I have only 2 or 3 devices, okay? It doesn't matter. And you can split it into 2 parts. The left part is you have to decide, do you want to compete here in the price, product and price part, or here in the job to be done affordability part? I'll give you an example. Car manufacturers. VW try to stay ahead of the market, cheating a little bit, saying, look, we have Blue Motion's green cars sort of thing, but they do that to target their key customer. They left a gap for the Koreans, the Hyundais, and the Kias of the world. They leave a gap for the Indians and the Chinese. So if you are an incumbent and you play the product price game, this is called low-end disruption. Low-end disruption. If you're an incumbent and you're the market leader, you always go for your most profitable customer. However, on the other side, we talk about underserved consumers' non-consumption. I cannot afford a Ferrari, but I can afford to drive a Ferrari like 3 over a weekend, right? Give me an offer. I don't take any pride in owning a Ferrari and pay for cars and insurances, etc., right? But I wanna use it. So that's again this Uber model. And by the way, every single, I speak from Germany, German car manufacturer has their own Uber in Europe. So in Berlin, for example, Audi, you said, okay, an A3, I want to have it at 1225 north of Brandenburg Gate. I take it, I open up with my smartphone, pay, I don't know, 30 euro cents per minute per kilometer. I drop it off, check out, it will be collected. Okay? That's the reason why that's the reason why Toyota is a shareholder of Uber. Because they can't sell the cars to the end consumer, but they obviously have to create a channel to basically keep the factories busy. If that makes sense. 2 minutes, okay. We are nearly there. So that is now my little link. I hope you like it. I mean, we Germans struggle with the humor. Wars, you get it? The new 5 Ps in marketing. Price becomes value. Place becomes omnichannel. Promotion becomes relationship. Positioning becomes relevance. And product becomes solution. Okay? So that is the WOS. And you said, okay, that makes sense, and that sounds all good. However, I want to leave you with, I think, 3 slides, if my memory serves me right. Your main lever to deal with disruption is internal. Everyone is telling you a bad strategy, well executed, is better than a great strategy, badly executed. And that's the same with disruption. Look at it, at disruption and innovation being 2 sides of the same coin. Okay? You can deal with disruption if you have an innovative culture. And everyone says, okay, we have an innovative culture, but I left 2 employers in South Africa because they didn't have an innovative culture. My top 6 of why disruption fails within a corporate. Strong antibodies, or as Christendom calls it, it's a resource allocation model. Who you phone in the morning determines really who's giving you, who helping you to give you the KPIs. Failure is not an option mindset. So now I don't want to admit that I basically messed up. The conflict between long-term innovation and short-term KPIs, and people try to get ready. Give me the 5-year plan, the return on investment. I don't know. It's something new. We target a new customer. The prevalence of the hippo. And that's now my opportunity to pay back to Steinhoff, because I lost money with Steinhoff. That is like typified by Marcus Jöster. Hippo stands for highest paid person's opinion. And I surround myself with people that say, oh, that's great. That's a great idea. So in South Africa, there are a lot of hippos, okay? Where the leaders demand the following from their staff, and a lot of people also hire for track record and not passion. And someone said it before, I think the lady from Black & Decker, disruption is almost always an opportunity before it becomes a threat. We have online retailers that do well in this disruptive environment and that are not doing well. We have offline retailers that are doing well and are not doing well. And this is really the one slide where everything is together, my 5 cents of the business opportunities through disruption. You have an analog mindset, traditional go-to-market, you hit the price, the disruptive change is the digital divide, you can influence community retail, and product as a service. So platform is the future. And if you want to learn more about it, that's before I started with Pick and Pay. If you want to more about it, there's a workshop tomorrow where I elaborate a little bit. Thank you. That's me. Thank you.